are watching Where Are They Now with your host, Dianne Hart. Now here's Dianne.
Good evening. Welcome to Where Are They Now? I'm your host, Dianne Hart Lowman, and tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing a singer, a songwriter, a producer, Pole Productions, Vice President of a record company, Source 3 Entertainment, and that is Miss Darla Morgan. How are you this evening?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored. So let's just jump right in. Where are you from?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
What schools did you attend?
Well, I graduated from Holly, Michigan, because my parents got land up there, and so they wanted us to go to a better school system. Mm-hmm. So I also went to Cass Tech. I was gifted in the arts. So I went to Wayne State. I started there for architectural designing. And I was told, I guess a teacher when I was 5 years old told my mother I was gifted in the arts. And at that time, the only art school open in 1967 or so, no, it was 62, was in Dearborn. And of course, they did not want us there.
Know how that was in 62 for certain. Let's talk a little bit about how did you get started? Were you always singing as a kid? Were you a singer as a little girl?
Yes, I started singing in church. I was 4 years old and got a standing ovation then. And all I knew for many years was church music. That's where I grew up in. Along the way, I was meeting people outside of church. I didn't know who they were, right. But I guess later on down the line, I found, that's who that was.
You started at 4 years old. You sang in church until you were, what age was it that you met somebody else that said, hey, you might be able to sing some other kind of music as well as your gospel? How old do you think you were?
I was 14 years old. And my mother went with me on this audition because, I wasn't really allowed to sing anything else. I auditioned for this band and they said, how old are you? And so I told them that didn't last too long because my mother, she was like, no. So when I was 15, Mom took me to an event. It was the last, I found out, Motown Review. And that was headed by Beans Bowles.
Oh, yes.
I was 14 years old. My mom was offered 4 contracts. I was offered 3. My mom she was an awesome singer. And so that's how I got started.
So your mom was a singer. Anybody else in the family sang or played instruments?
Well, they say they sang. You know how that is.
But your mother was really a singer.
Yes, she was really a singer.
You get 3 contracts, but what do you do?
It kind of turned Mom off when one of the producers, I don't know which company it was. I don't know whether it was Motown or one of the others. Anyway, the representative came. He wanted to hypnotize me. And my mom was like, oh, no, I don't think so. You're not hypnotizing my daughter. And, I forgot who it was. It's been so many years.
So he literally wanted to hypnotize you before you sang?
Yeah, he felt I could be a better vocalist if they hypnotized me for whatever reason. But my mother wasn't going for that. She got excited about all of the contracts until he did that.
So then what happened?
Well, I would be singing off and on at different groups, and I was meeting people in the entertainment field that I didn't know were famous. I was going to Wayne State. At 18, somebody told me this group is looking for a vocalist. I went to the studio. It was on Gratiot, and that studio was owned by Chapter 8. I didn't know who Chapter 8 was, but I just knew I wanted to sing. So it took them about 2 weeks or so. They were trying to decide between me and another vocalist, and I found out it was Anita Baker. They said, he said, what is that guy's name? Paul Reiser. He said, both of y'all are good. We're trying to decide which one. So they decided for Anita Baker. But what he did do was refer me down the street, down Gratiot, to 3B Studio, where Beans Bowles was the owner of the studio. So I sang with Harold Bowes, Dennis Bowes, Pablo Loman, Pamela Valencia, Deirdre Chambers, Paul Stewart, and Mike, I don't know what his name was.
So that was a band and you were their singer, you were their lead singer for that group?
Pamela was the lead singer. I was really still too shy, so I would stay in the back until I cannot remember their name, but they're well known in Motown. And they were talking to Beans and they heard me singing and everybody stopped and looked at me, and I was like, what? And so Beans got on me. He said, if you don't bring that voice out, he said, you're not going to stay back there and we think you don't know how to sing. So Beans is the one that really cultivated me into really singing, perfecting my craft.
Right. How do you think you were by then?
I was 18 years old.
Tell me a little bit about the very first time you got paid to go out and sing. How old were you? Was it still during your 18, 19 years?
I think really it wasn't until I met my husband, and I was 49 then. I wasn't wise enough to know I was supposed to have a contract and, money. And
so you're telling me that you were in a studio singing and you were singing with people and you were not getting paid?
No, ma'am. I wasn't wise enough to know I was supposed to.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to stop with your singing for just a moment. And I'm going to go to the next thing and then we're going to go back. So now you're a songwriter. Do you only write with your husband or have you written before you met your husband?
I've written before I met my husband, but again, I didn't know how to present music in the music world. I've written before and really didn't consider myself as a serious songwriter. Had
you written for anybody else?
I did write a song that was sung by, it's going to come to me when I'm not thinking about it.
That's all right. And
Robert M. Tume. So I wrote Tailor Made Love, and also Rufus Ford actually gave me the title for it. And he wrote some words and I rewrote it. I told him I would be rewriting it so that it would flow better. So it was sang by Robert M. Tume Owens. And of course, he put his own style to it.
Of course.
And I found out, and again, I didn't know, but I found out it was, I think, number 8 in Europe, UK, and Canada, I think it was.
So did you ever get paid for that song?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
At least we're beginning to pay you now, right?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. Okay, you're a singer, you're a songwriting. Tell me a little bit about some of the individuals that you have played with. You named some of those folk that were in that studio. Were they just in the band or are these individuals that you have sang some songs with outside of a band, or was it always with the band?
I did some singing at Baker's.
Okay.
And again, I didn't know who these people were. Little church girl me. After I got through, these men surrounded me, saxophone players, and I did this. I didn't know what was going on. They said, "Where have you been?" And I was like, "What? We've been looking for Billie Holiday for years, and here you are." They said, "You control a stage like Billie Holiday." I said, "Well, thank you," and found out it was Mr. McKinney.
Is his name Harold McKinney?
I think it was Harold McKinney. He was older. Mm-hmm.
His daughter is a drummer. Was a drummer for Aretha Franklin?
I don't know.
How old are you at this point?
I am 16. I'm a young 69. That's what I say.
No, not now. How old were you at Baker's when you?
At that time, had to be somewhere in my 30s.
Okay.
So the owner of Baker's, he asked me to host some of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. And I had fun. I had a blast. I only did it for about 4 months.
Okay.
And I went on, I became a full-figured model. The modeling agency, the first one that I was connected with, they had what they called a worldwide talent show. It almost had the name of that talent show, but is known. And I auditioned. It was at a hotel like the Renaissance Center. That was in California. And when I came out from the room, everybody was standing out. It was like 500 people standing in the hallway looking like, was that you? And I said, yes, it was. This tall white guy came up to me and he looked so familiar. I was trying to figure out where I saw him. And I remembered afterward, I saw him on One Life to Live. That was one of, and he says, can you please come home with me and sing to me every night? And I said, I'm married. I was married then, not to Terry, but I was married. Mm-hmm. And so at that conference, I guess I went out kind of looking around because this was LA, I went to see.
Right.
And when I came back, people were running through the hotel looking for me. And I was like, they said, there you are. And I said, what? The head of the conference wanted me to sing at the dinner to set the tone of the dinner.
Wow.
I sang House Is Not a Home by Mavis Staples. I won an award. I did win one because they didn't know I was as old as I was, even though I told them how old I was, but they didn't believe it. The judges, they were famous judges. One guy was from Paris, a Black guy. He said, oh my God, you have the most gorgeous voice. And so I told him, thank you for dinner. I sang before about 3,000 people.
Wow, what a dinner. Listen, I'm just flabbergasted at all the things that you've done. Tell me some more. You are just phenomenal. I cannot believe that you've done all those things and you were not getting paid, and you should have been being paid. Well, let me ask you. So you sang for those 3,000 people. Tell me, what do you think has been the one performance that you will forever remember?
I believe it was that performance because I was really astounded that people were looking for me. I did win an award. I won an award for commercial voiceovers. Mm-hmm. And I won an award for impromptu. So I said, okay, I can do this. But I think that was my most memorable.
That's great. I have one more question. I promise we're going to break. Who do you think influenced you the most when you started singing?
My mom, just listening to her. She was fabulous. And I believe, I want to say the Ink Spots when I was younger, they were looking at my mother. They kept asking her, but she was influenced by my grandparents who did not want her doing any secular anything.
It's not.
But she was fabulous.
Wow.
Even up until the time she passed last year at 84, she had a fabulous voice.
She was still singing.
Yes.
I know, that's right. Well, we're going to take a break and we're going to listen to a song that you and Terry collaborated on. And when we come back, we'll have you tell us a little bit about it. And the song is Baby, I Love You. So we will be right back.
If you want my loving, if you really do, don't be afraid, baby, just ask me. You know I'm gonna give it to you. And I declare I wanna see you with it. Stretch on your arms, little boy, you're gonna get it. 'Cause I love
Detroit Hot Television on the cutting edge of urban internet TV.
Hi, this is Dianne Hart. Be sure to catch my shows as we interview politicians and special guests on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on The Opening Statement, the Lit TV network on Roku. Also, watch Where Are They Now as I interview entertainers of yesterday and today at 7:30 p.m. Detroit Hot TV on Facebook. Thank you.
You are watching Where Are They Now with your host, Dianne Hart. Now here's Dianne.
Welcome back to Where They Now. I'm your host, Dianne Hart Lowman, and tonight I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing Miss Darla Morgan. So that's a bad jam. So now tell me, what'd you and Terry do that song?
I've always just wanted to be mama, grandma, you know. I wasn't thinking beyond that,
Right.
And I just so happened to be singing it in the kitchen. And Terry says, "Come in here, you're going to record that." And I was like, I said, well, okay. And so I did all the backgrounds and I did the lead, of course. Terry, got on keyboard and he separated each track, did each track. And did it in a day. I did it in one day. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it.
And it's a beautiful song. So let's talk a little bit about how you met Terry. And then you married him and all the things that you all have been doing, all the songs and singing and everything that you all are working on.
I met him, I was 49. I needed a track for a jazz show I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might have been at Easter Market. I believe it was for Bert's. Started to do the song. It was in that movie where the jazz singer and Whoopi Goldberg was in it. It was that song. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway,
I'll come back. Yeah.
That's the song. That's the song I wanted to do. And so he told me afterwards, I fell in love with your voice. You have a fabulous voice. And I was like, huh? Okay. But the first day we met, the first thing he did was hug me. And I was like, I kind of, I said, this is just too weird. He hugged me. But he was a nice guy. And actually for 2 hours, we talked about the Lord for 2 hours. And then I finally said, Mr. Morgan, I said, I already can't pay you. And I said, I better start this track. So I began to, we started talking again because I'm trying to figure out who to introduce him to. I forgot I was single. I was like, we got to go to the museum and you go one way, I go the other way. That's how you're going to meet somebody. Don't be meeting nobody at the bar. And I was plotting how somebody could meet him. And that night, he was at work. He was a security police officer at Henry Ford. And he called me, and it was real quiet. And I said, Mr. Morgan, are you okay? And he says, no, my name is Terry. I said, Terry. And my husband is he's very laid back. He's very humble. He's a very humble man. And he said, I'm in this office on one knee. I'm asking you to be my wife. And I said, oh my goodness, here we go. Yeah, I was thinking he was a nice guy. I didn't believe him. So he talked to me for about a couple of hours, convincing me to marry him. And the thing that got me, Miss Lowman, was he said, I may not be the man you want, but I'm the man you need. And I was like, snippity snap.
Okay, mister.
Yeah. Was like, oh, goodness. So I did marry him. And he has never broken his word to me. Never.
So lots of people don't know that you're married to the legendary Terry Morgan, one
I
of the
didn't know
best.
either. I didn't know either.
Hey, tell us a little bit about that part.
Well, I mean, I just knew he was an awesome keyboardist. But just before I got married, I'm telling all my friends, especially in the entertainment field, who I was marrying. And they said, girl, you married Timo? That boy is bad. And I'm like, you know, I still didn't know who he was. So that was on November 18th, I met him. So on Thanksgiving, which was a couple of days later, I took him up to my parents. And they're wondering who in the world got this girl because they knew I was like, please. My mother was trying to introduce me to everybody passed by the door. And when I brought him up there, my mother said, I know him. I go to all his shows. This man, and found out he was a jazz artist. Really, people know him by Cutie Pie, but he is an awesome, awesome jazz artist.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so we were married about 3 months. We got married a month later. So this will be our 19th year of being married. And the third month we were married, after still not knowing who he was, somebody called the house. I can't remember whether it was the Originals, the Temptations, somebody. And I said one moment, and I went to the studio and I told him who was on the phone, and he was talking and whatever business they were talking about, and he hung up the phone and kept playing, looking at him. Said, "Who are you?" And he says, I'm nobody. He really didn't like people knowing who he was. And so I said, nobody like that calls nobody. Mm-mm. I said, who are you? So he finally told me who he was. And of course, Cutie Pie was my jam. I screamed like a fan.
We're like, oh my goodness.
Right. And
Yeah.
even then, I still didn't believe him. And he Googled it, pulled it up, and there he was. Said, oh my goodness.
I'm married to a famous jazz musician.
I tried in every way to help him get out there. I didn't even really concentrate on me. I felt it was very important that more people knew who he was, even though he did jazz shows at the marinas, and he had a constant gig at the marinas in the outside Detroit area. And I went through, he had a ton of paperwork on the desk. Well, he didn't know I have talents and skills in business, in the
Right.
business world. I may not have a degree, but I knew what I was doing. And he asked me to go through his mail and please do something about that. Found checks from his regular job that was 7, 8 months old. And I was like, what in the world, man? And he said I was making so much money being a musician. He never cashed his other checks. And so I said, So I had to call, of course, and have them reissue. Then I asked him, I said, well, where's your royalty checks? He said, I don't know. I said, huh? I said, oh, no. No, that's not going to happen. Not with me. I called Universal. I found Universal had been holding his money in an account for all those years. And so they released it to him. And I called BMI. BMI, well, they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. So I contacted all the group of One Way and Al Hudson. I contacted the manager, had them on a conference call, So BMI could hear, no, this is the Terry Morgan we were with. So they immediately started sending royalty checks from that time on. So of course they didn't send in the money that he was missing.
Right.
So when Universal sent a debit card, and on that debit card was a very good amount of money. Terry couldn't believe I did that. I said, yeah. I said, real. And so he said, well, the next day he said, I'm going to take you somewhere. And I said, okay. So we ended up, he took me on a $6,000 shopping spree.
Wow.
He said, you never asked for anything. He said, I've never heard you ask for anything. So I thank God for him. He's a wonderful man, a very wonderful man.
Sounds like an absolutely wonderful man. And listen,
Yes.
I can only imagine how he has treated you down through these years. A man that asked you to marry him that you've only known for 2 weeks. And you stay with him 18
No,
years.
one day.
The man asked
I
you
knew him for one day.
before he asked you to marry him.
Yes.
He really wanted you for his wife. He knew you were his wife the moment he saw you. Said
He told me he knew.
he knew you were his wife. Darla, I can't even begin to imagine what a love affair that must have been all those years.
Mhm.
And he was such a kind gentleman to allow me an opportunity to interview him. And we laughed and talked. And he didn't quite tell me it was a day. He told me it wasn't long. I met her and then I married her.
Yeah, one day. And then 1 month later, a week before Christmas, we got married.
And your mom could not believe it because now she can come to the shows for free. After that.
Right. She was on top of the world. And I still, nobody told me who he was.
Wow. So let me ask you, have you played in any other countries, or is your music is just in some other countries?
They are in other countries.
Yeah.
I really hear about it from the CEO of Source 3 Entertainment. He tells me,
Mhm.
you know that your number's so and so on the chart over there. And I said, really? I said, oh, I didn't know what those charts were, and but I do know UK, Canada, and Europe. And in different parts of Europe, I have never heard of, different countries. And I've never gone over there. I thank God that
Your music is timeless and it's still being played and listened to, I'm sure, even today.
yes,
Well, Terry told me that he's writing for you every day. So you're keeping him busy. He's excited about every opportunity to write for you. He's like, I'm writing for my wife now. Because I wanted to know, was he writing for others? He's like, nope, I don't have time to write for anybody but Darla.
he always is trying to get me out there, and I'm trying to get him out there. I said, people need to know. They need to know.
Let me ask you this. Have the two of you played and sang together anywhere?
Yeah, the horriblest show was at Bert's. Oh my goodness. Because when he got me out there, I really didn't have clothes to wear, and I just threw something together. And when I look back on it, I said, horrible.
What was I thinking when I went out last night?
Yes. But I went on ahead and sang, and but I really did. I was ashamed of the way I looked because that's not my style.
Right.
It's really not my style.
Nobody cared. They were listening to your voice. They didn't even see the clothes you had on. They could only hear that music.
Yeah, and I
singing.
got standing ovation.
Are you considering doing some shows?
Only if my husband wants us to do it before we're moving out of state. So it depends on him, actually. I'm game for it.
Well, we've got to make sure if you don't at least come out and do a big performance, that you come out and do a couple of jam sessions. I need to hear you in person. I'll be in
Yes,
Detroit
ma'am.
in a couple of weeks. So I want
Huh? You're
I'll
going to
be
be in Detroit in a couple of weeks.
Yes. Yes. So I'll be looking forward to seeing the two of you somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Misty Mondays or Bert's on a Thursday night or Sunday at the pub on the field. Gotta see you all. Gotta see you somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Okay.
let's talk a little bit about where can people find you on the social media platforms?
Well, my songs, well, I know Stitched Up is on the platforms. I know that. The other songs, I haven't really worked on getting them out there only because I started going back to school and, I was busy doing that. But I am working on a new album,
Oh,
which I want to do like the old jazz stuff, I want to do that.
right,
I feel that the old jazz things, they need to shine.
right.
They need to shine.
There's nothing wrong with that. Now, we talked about you singing, your songwriting, you're VP of a record company. What's that like?
Because the CEO just called us from Nevada and said, okay, you're the vice president and Terry's going to be the president. I'm like, what is this, people? I was already doing troubleshooting for different avenues for the different entertainers that were connected to Terry. They would call, FD, can she, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, I had no idea what being a VP was. I am really just finding out the whole evidence of what being a VP is. I said, okay, let me scratch all this and I'm going to, I contact the CEO, let him know what I would be doing from this point forward, especially since we're moving out of state.
Right.
How we're going to connect Cubbyhole Productions and Source 3 Entertainment and how to get the sources of entertainers to be with Source 3 Entertainment because they'll be coming to us for production. Right. So I really started thinking like a vice president. It's a mindset, actually, and my husband was telling me, he said, you wear your heart on your sleeve for everybody and blah, blah. I kind of stopped doing that because it was too hard on me. And it was too hard on me watching my husband getting upset because I said, this has got to stop.
Right.
So it was, there's some things I had to change. I had to harden on. And I started cleaning house with Source 3. The CEO, who is Don DaCosta in Nevada, he just gave me leeway to do whatever I felt I needed to do.
Right.
So I did so. Some of the entertainers, they had to roll. We're not going to, first of all, you're not going to come to me. I'm the vice president. And then you go to the CEO because you don't like what I said. Right. So guess what? The CEO let them know, what did Darla say?
What did she?
Right. Whatever Darla said, that's what it is.
Oh, that's right. I know that's right. Well, we're going to take another break. It's been so interesting. I almost forgot I need to go to a second break. But we're going to take another break and we're going to listen to another song that you and Terry collaborated on. And it's called I'm Not the Enemy. And then when we play that song, we'll come back and talk a little bit about it, what inspired that song.
know those melancholy eyes I see. Do you even know me? Your scent is familiar, your voice familiar, but those words you speak are not familiar to me. You can't love nobody unless you love yourself. Don't take it out on me, baby. I'm not the enemy. Are you the man I love, the man I know loves me? Come on, talk to me, boy. I'm not the enemy. Your worries, your stress are both the root of your unhappiness, fueled by insecurity. The pressures of being a man is hard. Don't think I don't understand. Put a little faith in me. You can't love nobody unless you love yourself. Don't take it out on me, baby. I'm not the enemy. We can't be happy until you're happy with yourself. Come on, talk to me, boy. I'm not the enemy. Ooh, and I feel is unconditional. I love you at your best and at your worst. Don't shut me out. I'm here for you. I'm on your side.
It's a new day for Detroit radio. It's internet radio. Make sure you're streaming in your car. Detroit's digital radio station for a new generation. DetroitHotRadio.com. Terrestrial radio can't do what we do because we are setting a new standard in Detroit. The best Detroit artists are here, along with all your national favorites. The most music 24/7 by all your local favorites, like Anita Baker, Michael Henderson, Kim,
So how did you find your way back in
and the Dramatics. If they're from Detroit, they're heard here. This is where Detroit turns for R&B from yesterday and today.
24-karat magic in the air.
Detroit Hot Radio.
Welcome back to Where They Now. I'm your host, Dianne Hart Lowman, and my special guest this evening is Miss Darla Morgan. What a bad jam. So let's talk a little bit about that song, I'm Not the Enemy.
I was asleep and the TV was watching me. all of a sudden I heard this song and I woke up and I said, who is that? They were running the credits. And I was watching the credits. I had a pen and paper watching the credits to see who that was. And I found out who it was. And her name, she is dynamic, Lena Lloyd. I contacted her to ask her, was it okay if I sang the song? You know, I said, I may not do it the way you like, but, you know, I would like to sing the song. She said, of course, go ahead and do that. And so after I got through with the song, I sent it to her. She said, it's wonderful. She said, you did a wonderful job. And I told my husband, I said, I like this one. And he said, I don't know, it's just impossible. Now, this is him all the time. It's always impossible for him. He don't know whether he can do it. I said, yeah, you can. You the wizard. so, sure enough, he did all of the music, track by track. And I had already learned the lyrics because I love the lyrics. The lyrics are so profound in a relationship with a man.
Right.
And I loved it.
So you were ready to go. Now, Terry, get yourself together and let's go do this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Stop telling me what you can't do. I don't want to hear it.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. What advice would you give to an up-and-coming individual? Listen, you spread the gamut. So I need you to talk about being a singer, a songwriter. What is it like being a producer? What it's really like to be vice president and have to deal with these incoming young folk of today. So much different than any other time.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
The one thing I came to realize was that I had to have an ear for every type of music. I couldn't just say, I'm going to listen to jazz, blues, and R&B. I had to have an ear for every type of music, which we both love. Every type of music is something in everything. Right. We don't too much go for acid rock, you know. It's that's so, another animal.
Yes.
When I'm dealing with an up and coming entertainer, I'm looking for, okay, keep your ego out of this. I don't want any egos. I don't want to deal with any. You got to go somewhere else for that. That's the first thing. I don't try to let them know. You know, most of the young people don't know I'm an elder. In fact, some of my friends didn't know. Some of my friends didn't know. But I want to be an example, character-wise. I look for their character.
Right.
And if I see your character is nasty, if I see your character is all about you, you got to go somewhere else. You got to go. You got to go. And the first rule of the studio, don't come in our studio smelling like that wacky tobacco, please. Don't do it.
So you don't come in here like that.
Right. Don't have it on your clothes. We don't want it around our instruments. Nothing. Don't come in here. Come in here clean. Now, what you do out there is your business. But we don't even want it on their clothes because, believe it or not, that stuff affects your instruments. I want our respect. And if I can't get it, you got to go.
Some of them are so taken away with streams. And I can get 1 million streams, but still ain't made a dime when you get 1 million streams. That's the sad part.
Right. I talk to them about that. There are other ways to earn your money.
Right.
However, I really encourage them to get a manager.
Right.
Because some of them, they want me to manage. No, I got too much on my plate. I can't manage you. And it's going to be a conflict of interest. With me managing you, you must come with a manager, or otherwise you can get with the CEO and he can advise you of a manager.
Right.
But no, I can't be a manager. And so I always suggest that they get a manager, and that's so that they can set up other ways to make income. They can set up events. They can set up different shows. They can set up different venues.
Mhm.
I wouldn't suggest they sell their recordings out of the trunk, especially if they come through Cubbyhole Productions. Why? Because we're not going to get anything. There's different things I talk to them about, and I expect honesty by all means.
What do you think has kept you in this space, entertainment space, with all of the things that you're doing as you move forward? What keeps you grounded in this space?
I'm going to tell you, I'm a firm believer in the Lord, a firm believer in the Lord. Okay, if anybody listens to Terry and our music, they won't hear certain things in our music. It's going to be real talent. It's not going to be something where your grandchild can't hear it.
Right.
So it's kept me grounded in knowing what I'm supposed to be about and what road I'm supposed to take. That's kept me grounded. When I meet even other entertainers, now since I know who they are, I'm not impressed with your, with your persona. I'm really not impressed. I'm impressed with your character, your ethics, your morals. That impresses me.
What else would you like to tell us that I've not asked you?
Terry began to know that, she really does know some people. Because she knows these people and she's not, So one day we were watching TV. We were watching Under Siege, Dark Territory, if you know Steven Skull. So we were watching that because we're big action flick. I said, I know him. Terry said, you know who? I said, that guy. And he said, what guy? I said, the black guy that's always in his movies. I said, the one that's always next to him, always the bad guy. I know him. He said, you do not know him. I said, yeah, I do. David McKnight. By the way, he was also an entertainer in Motown. He sang with somebody. I forgot who he sang with, but called him. Terry's looking at me like this, And I called him and I talked to him for a minute. And I said, I wanted you to meet my husband. And he said, you got married. We were talking. And so I gave the phone to Terry. Terry talked to him for a while. And when he hung up, he looked at me. He said, why do I know you at all with all the people you know? I was even invited when Motown moved to California, a representative from Motown. He heard me singing somewhere. And I got some advice from, what's that gospel singer? Tim said, you know her too? And I said, I had a phone number somewhere. The one that sings, The Battle Is Not Yours, It's the Lord's. Yeah, so I had a phone number. I didn't know who she was either, but she seemed like she was a very, very nice person. And so I said, well, this guy wants me to come out to California to sign with Motown. He was very excited. He called me every day. And I don't know his name either. I didn't really want my son being raised in that arena. He was young. If he was older, I might have done it, but,
Right.
And so I decided not to sign with Motown. And the guy said, are you sure? I said, I'm positive. I'm okay.
Wow. How old is your son now?
He is 50.
Is he a performer at all?
No, his father was extremely talented. His father used to play at Orchestra Hall when he was younger. He could play any instrument by ear. My son, he doesn't sing or anything, but he has an ear where if he pulls together songs on a CD, he hears a flow. So there's a flow to whatever CD he does. So no, he is gifted. He was actually At 2 years old, he was reading on 10th grade level. At 4, he was reading on college level. And they say he wasn't a genius. It just made sense to him, what he was reading.
He was a
And
genius.
I said, okay. And so he's a licensed iridologist. He is on different podcasts because he is respected by regular doctors because he's a vegetarian and fruitarian. And he teaches that. He has another lifestyle. It's nothing I taught him, but okay.
Children are children and they do what they want to do. We raise them and then we let them go into the world.
Right. He do whatever he want to do.
That's right. That's what our children do. That's exactly.
Yeah, and I'll just pray for him and, you just
keep him lifted up. That's all we can do for them. My daughter,
that's right.
Time and she say, I used to always hear you saying, oh, your mama was always praying for you. She said, so now I understand. I'm praying for my own, like you prayed for me. I said, that's right.
That's right. My son was teaching Bible studies at 15 at different churches, big congregations. He was bad. That was a bad boy. He would tell the people, my mama, she said she would pray for me and pray over me. And I was like, why is this woman different?
What mothers do.
That's right. That's what we do.
That's what we're supposed to do. Well, I want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to interview you. So let me just go ahead and close out the show. But I am so excited. I really enjoyed this opportunity.
I enjoyed and I'm honored by being on your show. Thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. Listen, you can watch Where They Now every Thursday night at 7:30 on Detroit Hot Television Facebook page. And also listen to Detroit Hot Radio. You can listen to me every Wednesday night on Roku on the Lit TV network right here out of Tampa. Don't forget to go to my YouTube page, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and every time I put up a new video, you'll be notified. It has been real, and I greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you, darling. Bye-bye.
Detroit Hot Television on the cutting edge of urban internet TV.
But I knew something wasn't right. But since he paid my bills, I guess I'ma be alright. I know he's cheating, I know he cheat, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. I know he's cheating, I know he cheat, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. He came home late one night, ooh, smelling really sweet. He jumped in the shower, y'all, and jumped into the sheets. I rolled my back and turned, y'all, and went right off to sleep. Yeah, I really ain't got time for your lie. Well, I'm finna catch a sheep. Well, but I knew something wasn't right. But since he paid my bills, I guess I'ma be alright. I know he's cheating, I know he cheat, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. I know he's cheating, I know he cheat, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. I'm not gonna let him go, no. That's my man, and I love him for sure.